I'm going back to play games from my childhood to see how they hold up today and if they feel any different. This time, I went back to a game with a very special place in my heart. Released in 2010, published by DICE, Battlefield Bad Company 2 is one of the most unique entries in the Battlefield franchise.
Get out of the way! I gotta save me some cheerleaders.
Of course, I only played the campaign since the multiplayer servers were shut down. But honestly, this is all I needed. Bad Company 2 has one of the strangest tonal identities in gaming. One moment, you're racing quad bikes through the mountains, listening to grown soldiers argue about who's winning.
Whoever wins, not the loser.
The next, the game is dealing with a super weapon, betrayal, and surprisingly emotional deaths. It constantly moved between something funny
Ain't you gonna help us win? What, me? No way, man. I'm a pacifist. What? Pacifist? How can you be a goddamn pacifist?
and something serious.
Damn, they really did it.
As a kid, I just thought it was fun, while getting the best of both worlds. As an adult, you understand this was intentional, and somehow it makes the game less confusing. Part of the game's identity is that it gives you emotional freedom. You can take it seriously or not, and it doesn't punish you either way. That's a very adult design idea that you only appreciate years later. But why was it so good? Let's be completely honest. The actual story of Battlefield Bad Company 2 is nothing special. You're on a mission to stop a bad guy with a super weapon. You get close, but then there's a sudden twist which puts you on the back foot. But you recover, and you win in the end. Super weapon, bad guys, chase, final confrontation. We've seen it 100 times, and lots of games have made compelling stories from this. But what made this game different? Part of it was the characters. They're the reason this game still works amongst a very strong competition at the time. You've got Marlowe, Sarge, Sweetwater, and Haggard. Each one feels like a piece of one human personality. Marlowe, he's the rational, grounded, but still a little bit goofy character. You have Sarge, he's the serious leader, and he makes all the decisions. You have Sweetwater, he's the smart guy, the nerdy voice of logic. And then you have Haggard, he's pure chaos, he's headfirst into everything, shoot now, question later. As a kid, they're each their own person, their own identity. But as an adult, they're more like fragments of one person and functioning as a single unit. This makes them incredibly relatable as you see bits of them in yourself. The characters completely carry this story, and going back and playing this game makes it very obvious. DICE clearly knew they couldn't out-serious Call of Duty or Halo in 2010, so they leaned into the satire instead. You get adult jokes that you only really understand now.
Well, now we need to party, and I know an establishment you're gonna love. There's this girl called Chantel, and she can granny.
Ted,
Direct references to Call of Duty.
I should clear this with Braidwood.
No. He'll just send some special ops douchebags with pussy-ass heartbeat monitors on their guns instead of us.
And of course, the four main characters arguing about literally anything.
No, wait. Jesus Christ, the guy is fucking dead. We're gonna get pinned down waiting for CSI New Jersey here to tell us what we already know.
None of this would ever show up in a Call of Duty campaign, but Bad Company had the freedom to play into a wider emotional sandbox. This allowed the game to mix up the tone without taking you by surprise or altering the experience in a jarring way. It was simply part of what the game was. It's this freedom, this openness, and carefree attitude to design that made this game so special and unique. Replaying Battlefield Bad Company 2 made me realise how much I miss older single-player FPS games. Modern first-person shooter games love throwing you into this open mission style with giant empty spaces. It's drive here, drive there, clear enemies here, with nothing happening in between. Battlefield Bad Company 2 has one open level, and it was probably the least favourite part of my game. It just reminded me of how empty those design choices feel. These larger open world levels increase the time that the story isn't being progressed. you start to find yourself forgetting what you're doing and why it matters. You might think there's a simplicity in linear game design in a first-person shooter, but it's always given us the best experience. Something I've always appreciated about this game was the sound design. It's still a talking point about Battlefield games now, 15 years later. The gunshots, the reloads, the explosions, the ambience, it's all so punchy, it's all so iconic. And honestly, nothing in the series has ever really matched it. Battlefield 1 came close, but Battlefield Bad Company 2 had something raw and aggressive that just stuck in your head. It's funny because as a kid, you don't know why it's good. And honestly, as an adult, this element of Battlefield Bad Company 2 is still something you can't quite put your finger on. You know what makes poor sound design in other games, but you can't really explain what brought this into the next level. Of course, the end of Battlefield Bad Company 2 ends with the sequel hook.
They're coming in through Alaska.
But we never got a Bad Company 3. And honestly, the older I get, the more I understand why. DICE probably didn't even know why Battlefield Bad Company 2 was so successful, and they were scared to mess it up, and I completely understand that. When something in your life goes really well, you're terrified of changing it and breaking whatever magic made it work. There's a life lesson in there, somewhere. The biggest part about replaying Battlefield Bad Company 2 was the nostalgia. Playing back the campaign brought back memories of playing multiplayer with my brother and childhood friends, playing Rush, which honestly has never been as good as it was back then, and then all the countless hours of laughter, intensity, and immersion in this gem DICE built. The multiplayer servers being offline sucks, but the campaign kept reminding me of those old maps and those old guns and the sounds. It's weird, you don't think about those memories until something triggers them. The campaign became a bridge back to those moments, and honestly, that was really special. Returning to Battlefield Bad Company 2 wasn't like replaying GTA 4, where the whole experience feels totally different as an adult. Battlefield Bad Company 2 instead felt like coming home, but with a new understanding of the jokes and the characters and the emotional beats. The gameplay loop isn't amazing, but the characters, the sound, the tone, that's what made it great. And those things never went away. If you ever loved this game as a kid, I'd seriously recommend going back. Not for the mechanics, or the gameplay, or the story, but for the memories waiting underneath.